It's live from State Control Britain. Here we are at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and there we have Liz from Black Box Warning TV. And there, what time is it?
It is 8 o'clock in the morning.
8 o'clock in the morning. The sound of a song coming on.
It did. I know. It sounds like it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yep.
I've just had a renaissance with the song Babe by Styx. I just played it on the piano for the first time ever, you know.
Oh, that's a good one. Oh, so he plays music too. Oh my goodness. Like you are well-rounded, Stephen.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
That's crazy.
There's clips on my YouTube channel, and I actually call it Murdering Music. So.
I think I saw a couple of those now that you mention it a while back. That's cool. Yeah, I was in a rock and roll band when I was from one time I was 14 years old. Like we toured and starved and everything like for years.
You did it properly.
So, yeah, but we loved music. You know, it's like I always have a soundtrack playing through my head. I don't know if that makes me crazy or not. I'm not sure, but you know, music's important.
It's only crazy when you can hear other people's soundtracks in their head.
That's true. That's probably true. Yeah. Makes sense.
What did you play? What instrument?
I played drums, but not so much that. I was a singer in the band or whatever. So, but back then it was like the crazy, you know, the 80s. Like everybody had a fake ID when they were like 15 to say they were like 30 and stuff. I mean, it was just crazy. So it was fun though. My brother was a savant. Like he came out of the womb like playing the guitar like Eddie Van Halen. It was the weirdest thing. They accidentally gave him a guitar when he was about 6, and then he just started playing it. It was just crazy. So he was very, very talented. So I was with him a lot of the time. So in his bands. But
yeah. So what's been grinding your gears this week then?
Oh, the food supply. It's got to be the food supply. So, there's been several things going on. I mean, I think this happened several months ago, if you look back at the timeline or whatever, but Texas it's kind of funny. Texas wants to put a label on there's food with 44 ingredients, like a list of food ingredients. Cause you know, if you hadn't heard me gripe about grass, generally recognized as safe, the FDA system for food ingredients, and you don't know me very well because I do it a lot. But you know, there's all these ingredients that are banned in the UK, Australia, the EU, and where else? There's 4 places. Canada. Yeah. So there's a list of ingredients that they don't even put in food. They don't even allow you to put it in food. And we just feed in the United States, like we just let everybody eat anything. So finally, like Texas is trying to make them put on the label, this food is not for human consumption, which is hilarious. It doesn't say that exactly. I think it says, I think I had a reference here. Oh, this product contains an ingredient that is not recommended for human consumption by the appropriate authority in Australia, Canada, the European Union, or the United Kingdom. So, I mean, obviously this is intended. They're trying to push this through so that the food manufacturers will change their ingredients and will not ever allow that to be on the label. That is what the purpose is. A lot of people think, oh, well, the labels are going to show up. No, likely they're going to change their ingredient list, which is almost more horrifying than undiscovered country. Let's put it this way, because they're going to have replacements. And the problem is with the current GRAS laws, which the generally recognized as safe, which means, we swear it's good, honest, you know, we whatever. It's like just the food companies saying, sure, yeah, no, it's safe, whatever. If you don't change those GRAS laws, the problem is that you haven't fixed anything. All you've done is made them switch ingredients, and the fact that they can just switch ingredients without having to really do anything much is even scarier than the devil that you know. So that's kind of I've been going off about that a lot, but you know, that and you know, other stuff.
The butter.
Oh yeah, that's Frankenbutter. That's scary. Yeah. But
tell us a bit about that. Yeah.
Well, the Frankenbutter is they're using CO2 from the atmosphere and what's called green hydrogen. It sounds like a science fiction movie when we talk about this. And green hydrogen, which green hydrogen is a process of like electrolysis, and you're using like wind and solar and all kinds of, I don't know, things like that to try to extract hydrogen from the water. And they're taking that basically, and they're heating it up and manipulating it in a mechanical process to make these oils. And they can make not just butter. They're saying we can make anything. We can reproduce tallow, coconut oil, anything, right? So that's just, I don't even have words for that. And they're putting things like lecithin in it, natural flavors, which, if you want to go down that road, there's stuff from a beaver's anal gland that's considered a natural flavor. So, so it can get really scary, Is
that vanilla you're referring to? That's the vanilla taste, isn't it?
It's I forgot the name. It's a weird name. Yeah, it's for the replacement vanilla flavor.
Yeah.
And I forgot the name of the chemical, but I did a video about it because it was just like people, I mean, that's hard for people to believe, and it's not as common anymore, I think is what they're saying. But it's just it's horrifying that they're trying to, replicate food in this way. And a lot of people look at it and they're like, well, you could feed a lot of people, and it would save a lot of lives, basically looking at like starvation and stuff like that. But I mean, you could do that by natural means as well. I mean, there's ways to conquer these problems naturally, but trying to replace food to humans, you're kind of getting in God territory, in my opinion, and the unintended consequences are what has been horrific throughout the history of regulated products. Just doing something because you can do it doesn't mean you should do it. So, in my opinion, but
yeah, and I think the Bill Gates butter, the thing about that is, then deliberately not selling it to the public, they're selling it business to business, aren't they? So the restaurant chains and can put it into their ingredients and not have to worry about the public not being interested, because they learned the lesson. Nobody wants this fake stuff. They don't want fake meat. And
they do this thing where they talk about how cheap it is and stuff. It is not. It is absolutely not. The production costs are exorbitant. Like, it's ridiculous. And this is pushed by the climate gang. This is exactly who this is pushed by, is the Greta Thunberg types or whatever. Like that's who's pushing this. And that is the reason they're pushing it. It has nothing to do with trying to feed starving people,
Yeah, I think it was quite funny because Sean Baker is famous for saying, this is vegan slop, all this sort of stuff. And then there was literally a news item that's supposed to be positive about this process. And behind the expert was a huge silo and literally had the word slop on it. I mean, it is slop.
That's what they named it. Yeah.
That's what it is. So there you go. Let's have a look at some people in the room. So Blessed is saying, good morning, Liz and Stephen. We've got a question from Volker, but we'll come back to that. Let's just say hello to everybody. Greetings from Hamburg. And Elizabeth is saying, good morning. I don't know who's from your channel or mine, but anyway, Steadfast, good morning. Hello from Cheshire. That's Chris. Hello, Chris. Good morning from South Texas, from Tracy. So it's quite a broad spread. Chicago, look at that. Elizabeth. Gaza, hi from France, the nuclear controlled state. Connie, good morning. Richard is saying good morning from Stasi controlled UK. Mediterranean D, I went to the doctor for a checkup, and in his clinical notes he put very fit individual. That's good. That's what you want. William is saying good morning. And Josephine, howdy, beautiful people. I guess that's how you pronounce it.
Howdy.
Howdy, yeah. Howdy doody. Michelle there, look. Hi, everyone. Hello, Michelle. And I thought that was going to be Greta for a minute. Gretchen, hello from Kansas. Sunny Bognor Regis, West Sussex. Oh, that's very tongue-in-cheek, Caroline. Unless it is sunny there, I doubt it. Barb, hello from Narnia. That's good. It's nice for someone to come out of the closet. Sorry.
Yeah.
You know.
There you go.
Egg. Hello, Egg. And Gaza's saying hi to Egg as well. So yes, and a little bit of to and fro. So we got a question. Let's have a look at this from Volker. And Volker, as you're in the room, we will hook up for another interview at some point because people liked what you said. But let's get this. So yeah, is it possible to have an extreme high oxidated LDL above 2000 when there is only a small number of LDL subfraction 3 and no 4 to 7 and therefore no small dense LDL? Yes, absolutely, because we're talking about volume there. Large buoyant LDL can oxidize and does oxidize, definitely. That is possible. But your pattern there is what you're showing. So you've got 3, a small number of 3, which is, well, so basically we've got large and buoyant is 1 and small is 7, and then you've got a gradient list basically through there. So 3 is pretty good, and no 4 to 7, which is excellent. So you haven't got very small subfractions or small particles, but absolutely, definitely, you can still oxidize. But I think what your pattern indicates, and this will make Bart K spit feathers, is the so-called lean mass hyperresponder, which is a catch-all term for people that are lean and have high LDL, and they have the triad of low triglycerides and reasonably high HDL. I think so. Yeah. Yes, it's possible. It is definitely possible because you have a very high total of LDL particles. So just the sheer volume of it increases your chances of oxidization. But I'm not a big fan of believing the lipids are that meaningful anyway. But yeah, it's a good question. Do you want to add a bit?
Well, is this, I guess you guys are looking at NMR spectroscopy results for particle sizes. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not up on the ranges and all that kind of stuff because I don't get my cholesterol checked or nothing. So hadn't in 3 years.
I like the way you say cholesterol.
Cholesterol. Everybody wants to talk about cholesterol, but but yeah, I used to run that instrument, so it brings back.
Tell me more about that. Why is that a good instrument then?
I just remember it being a pain in the butt, like honestly, because the last time I ran it was like, because we didn't have NMRs, we had high performance liquid chromatography machines, which are, we had about, I think 150, and I worked at like these machines or whatever. It's crazy. I worked these huge companies, and we would just get bored with it. Like we'd have Shimatsu and we would just change to Hewlett Packard. I mean, it's like, hey, we're just gonna change them all. And it was just crazy when you work in these pharmaceutical, this has nothing to do with NMR, but NMR, I mean, it was interesting. Like all the technology was interesting, but bench chemistry was actually more, I don't know, satisfying, because there's a lot of bench chemical methods that you do. And I had these 2 Russian ladies that like did the most amazing bench chemistry. Nobody else wanted to do it though. Everybody wanted to do the instrumentation. And to me as a chemist, the instrumentation was kind of boring because like the software does everything for you. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know, but God, how did I get on that? I don't know. Woo, it's Saturday. It's Saturday, but it was interesting to run like all that stuff, but I mean, a little bit boring. Like when it comes to all of the, because everything's so automated now. And I was kind of in 2 worlds. Like I said before, when I got into chemistry, we were doing, or actually this was medical technology. We were doing the auger hemoglobin electrophoresis. I mean, it was like, you'd see some of these base methods that had really solid foundations. And then it just moved into something automated where, the inner workings of a lot of the stuff you don't know, but but I just remember running that, and I know that is the method. I'm thinking like that technology is the way that they do all of these LDL particle sizes, correct? Yes. Or do they have any other methodology by now to do that? Or
no, it's the nuclear. Yeah, okay. It's still a nuclear testing. I mean, possibly in research settings, but that's the majority of labs at the moment. So I think we got into it because of that question, really. Yeah.
Well, that's true. And then another thing, what's interesting to me when it comes to the making small scale automation like for home use, what is miserable, and I don't know your thoughts on this, but it'd be interesting to get, is that like you've been able to do glucose testing forever. You've been able to do ketones for a while, right? But
Yep.
I think a miserable failure is the cholesterol test at home.
Mm.
Like, because I have yet to see a home cholesterol test that is not absolute shite. Like, I don't know about you, but, or maybe you know about some that I don't know of. And I guess it's just the methodology just cannot be easily transferred into a home device or a compact device or something. But have you ever seen one that worked well for cholesterol?
Not really.
Yeah.
No.
But they still sell them. Like, they'll sell them, and like you can hardly ever get the strips even to go with it. But it's just interesting that they've never incentivized that, or because most of this technology that you see that is in clinical labs, like a lot of it, they can make home available, because I've seen a lot of it happen, but I've just never seen that. So I guess there's not much of an incentive, but that's all anybody talks about nowadays is their freaking cholesterol. So you would think there would be like tons of little home units or something that people would use if they were able to do it,
Yeah. See, the route I thought you were going to go down there, but it was misdirection by you because you were saying about glucose and ketones, not measuring insulin. I think that would be a continuing insulin would be a real boon to proper health, actually.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that you like would be good for the public, but again, like has to be an incentive for them to do it. So I would think that the medical industrial complex wouldn't want you knowing your insulin levels.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? They really don't want you to know that. So maybe that has some, I don't know. Cholesterol though, I mean, that'd be something they could incentivize, I would imagine, in a bad way. So
yeah. I mean, the home cholesterol testing, for instance, would never measure subfractions. It just wouldn't be able to do that.
Oh,
and
no.
Again, and it's so sensitive to hydration, so sensitive to recent meals and temperature. It's, it's incredibly unreliable test, actually. And LDL is still a calculation. Anyway, right.
Yeah. Get down that rabbit hole. Yeah.
I mean, I've just for a sort of just a little bit of a deviation, a little bit of a pivot, I've written a Substack about the study where they looked at the Mediterranean diet against a low carb diet, which wasn't really even that low carb. And within 16 weeks, the amazing thing, the changes were just incredible. So I just wanted to run the numbers past you because I thought the study was amazing. The low carb group, their HbA1c, which I know is unreliable, but we'll still go with it, was 23% down. Blood pressure was down. LDL was down 21%. Whether that's a good or a bad thing is irrelevant. It was down. I'm just telling you that. And kidney function increased by 30%, and fat loss was up by 25% compared to the Mediterranean diet. And we're always told the Mediterranean diet is wonderful, but when you do a sort of, and that was 130 grams, imagine how good the results would have been with a proper low carb diet within 16 weeks. That's quite an amazing set of figures, really.
That is that's amazing. Like, and the thing is like when they say the Mediterranean diet, like that's pretty wide. And forgive me for not being up on the diets, but the Mediterranean diet has like nuts and things involved and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But a lot of that, I think most of the Mediterranean diet like is hype, to be honest. I think it has a lot to do with marketing.
Oh,
to be honest. Yeah.
Especially the money from olive oil manufacturers, strangely enough. That's weird, isn't it?
Yeah, isn't it funny how that works, but I'm really hoping this fake oil thing is I'm hoping that they screw it up like they do everything else in history, because usually these people that, have this green agenda and whatever they're doing cost a lot, or it has a lot of overhead. And I think this does, because the way that they're doing it or the way they're going about it is not efficient. So I don't think it's scalable like long term. I don't think I think that they won't be able to, they'll screw it up basically in the end, hopefully, because I do not want to see these mystery oils like show up,
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, do you miss that? You talk about the bench chemistry. Do you miss that setting? You miss fiddling about with chemicals and
I kind
getting
of like
involved?
it because when I was a little kid, I mean, I used to always mix things together and drive my parents crazy. But I've always had a play around type of mentality. But yeah, I mean, sometimes, but I get to go in there whenever I want because, like, one of the departments I have, I have the laboratory is one of the, like, I'm the kind of overseeing all the things as they work together.
Hmm.
But if I want to go play, I get to play. Like, especially the R&D director, like, humors me because we go way back. So I'm like, I want to play with this. I want to look at this. So I'll be like, we'll have something come up, or some kind of like something's fallen out of solution or something in some kind of formulation. I'm like, oh, let me look at it. And I get to go back there and twiddle and play around. So I get to do stuff like that, even though I've been in quality assurance and regulatory affairs for a while. I'm
Mm.
lucky because it is a smaller company that I'm working for now. So
So you can
um,
play around.
yeah,
Yeah.
some of the time. I mean, I'm too busy to like do it much, but I'm able to keep up on top of things and water chemistry and all that kind of stuff. We sell a lot of different products where I work. So I've got like the medical device stuff, and then we've also got the water meters and products and things like that. So
What do you
it's
mean
interesting.
for quality of the water? You mean like parts per million testing and all that?
Yeah, like, so and it's like, how you buy a meter that you can, I don't know if you've ever used one, like, you can test the quality of your water, pH, alkalinity, all that kind of stuff, total dissolved solids, stuff like that. Like, you can get a
Hmm.
meter that actually you just dip it in the water and it'll read everything.
Hmm.
And then you can use like strips and stuff with it. And there's the pool industry is big. The drinking water industry, and like overseas, like, there's things like bacterial contamination kits that we make that test for E. coli and contaminated water and things like that. So it's kind of a broad reach of the products that we make where I work at now. But
Mm. All right, cool.
so it's interesting.
Uh,
Always something interesting going on.
yeah, I like all the bits and pieces you add to the conversation. Rickard is saying hi from Sweden. Yes, hello.
Sweden.
Sweden, yes. Right, sparkling or non, which I do like as a name, by the way. A relative has been told her hip pain is caused by calcium on her tendons. She's gluten-free, but otherwise eats a standard Western diet. Any tips, please? Well, firstly, don't eat a standard Western diet.
Mm.
And it's not really about, well, this isn't doctor's advice and it's not a doctor-patient relationship, but education. Normally, when that's being mentioned, it's not about too much calcium. It's calcium in the wrong place. So you could look at increasing some K2 into the diet, really, which is from animal products. Cheese will have it, and that's going to start putting calcium where it should be and stopping it being where it shouldn't. I am 62 in May, and I apparently should have been in a wheelchair by the time I was 50, according to the doctors and my hip scan when I was 23.
Really?
Oh yeah, yeah. So this is
What
a
did
big
they
deal
see?
for me.
What did they see to tell you that exactly? Like,
Well, they thought it was, calcified.
okay,
Mm,
all right.
yeah, but I didn't think it was right. I didn't think I had really severe lower back pain during a squash match. Now I was pretty active. I was a semi-professional soccer player, and I won a tennis tournament, a singles title. So I wasn't, anything other than what I thought was athletic. But I also played squash, which is notoriously difficult on the joints. But I was only 23, and like I say, very sporty, and I was stretchered off in great deals of agony,
Oh
and
God.
shown that particular image, told that's it, wheelchair by 50, mate, and all this. And then
Oh.
I left the hospital. They did a lumbar puncture and everything. And I left the hospital the next day, so I had an overnight stay. My head was incredibly hot, which is why they did the spinal fluid test. And I woke up and I just realised that none of it felt right. It just, my gut feeling was, no, this isn't right. So I left, and then I went to an osteopath who was a very old, ancient osteopath. It was almost like if I went on him, a load of dust would have come off. He was really, really old, and but he just knew his stuff left, right, and centre. He blew away my brain cells with his knowledge, and within 2 visits, my back had never felt as good. And
Wow.
it led me down the route of rehab, which is what I did, and I ended up qualifying for lower back specialism and medical acupuncture at the same time with a really fantastic training team who are physiotherapists now for Manchester City Football Club, or they're like freelancers. So they really knew their stuff as well. But anyway, going back to this sparkling or non question, it's the standard Western diet is not going to help, but definitely look at in K2. You can get supplements of K2. Many people push MK7 as a form, but I think MK4 is better. So that is beginning to get more traction now. So most supplements of K2 can give you MK4 and MK7. So that would be my tips. You got any tips, Liz?
Well, I can tell you from personal experience, again, I'm not saying this is for everybody, and it pissed me off too. I'm just going to say that. It made me mad because after my daughter was born, I had lower back pain, just annoying every day of my stinking life, just lower back pain. It would never go away. It wasn't enough to like cripple me. It wasn't catastrophic. Like it sounds like, what you had was like a severe type of thing with lower back pain, but it was always there and it always affected my quality of life. Right. And after I started carnivore, 3 days, I haven't had back pain. That back pain hadn't come back in over 3 years.
Yes.
Boy, that makes you mad. It really makes you mad. It's like all those years, because she's 21 now, if that tells you anything. It's just so crazy that and I think that's the thing is like, if you got this person, she has problems and pain or whatever, first of all, I don't think it's possible, honestly, for most things to figure out what causes what anymore. Because if you're eating the standard American diet, you've just got all these variables because God knows. I mean, you could just, if you listed all of the chemical compounds that you're putting in your body at one time, who the heck knows what's causing the problem? And that's part of it, is that you really need to eliminate, even if you don't go carnivore, people really need to eliminate all of the things that are not food and, not, that are conducive, that cause inflammation. Wait and see, and then at least add things back in. If you wanted to eat like standard American or whatever, like try to figure out what it is that's causing the problem. I think, honestly, even if you just did that much, it would help your life a lot, because a lot of people might be able to eat some kind of crap and it like doesn't make them feel as bad. But if you're going to continue to eat stuff like that, at least weed out whatever's causing the inflammation, because I can guarantee you, by eating the standard American diet, you are causing massive amounts of inflammation, because it's made out of things that are not food. So that's a thing.
Yeah, and I think that's a good thing to point out, how mad you feel, because I definitely get cross, but I'm much less cross now because I just realized that there's a tsunami of misinformation out there. I was cross with myself for not seeing it. Actually, I should rephrase it. But it makes me cross on behalf of other people. Yeah. Because you're right. I mean, a gluten-free diet is not going to cut it. A carnivore diet will definitely make a big difference. Absolutely.
Yeah. It's like your house is burning down and you need like fire trucks. And then somebody goes, well, no, but here's a cup of coffee. It's like, enjoy the view, it's like, that's not gonna help me, I don't know. It's just crazy.
It is crazy. Should we go to another question? Let's have a little look here. What have we got here? I think this has been answered in the chat, actually. So Egg, my UK HbA1c test was 22 or 23. How does that compare to US? And Chris, you see, we've got brilliant people in there. Has already answered it for me, so I don't have to get my calculator out. By the way, I'm old-fashioned. I don't use a phone. I actually use an actual calculator, which is why I was interested in the bench chemistry. And also, you mentioned the high-pressure liquid chromatography machine. That's what does the HbA1c. People are interested. That's been around a long time. Anyway, yes, really low, really, really low. I don't like ranges, but if you like ranges, optimal in the UK is minus 42 or minus 5.7% in the US. So anyway, very low. It's very, very low, which is great. So let's have a look. Volker is asking, can you test for non-metabolized folic acid? This is interesting. Folic acid is the synthetic form of folate, because we want monoglutamate folate, not polyglutamate folate, which comes from plants, by the way. But then we've also got folic acid. So yes, you can do a specialized plasma UMFA test. It's called unmetabolized folic acid. You won't get it as a routine NHS test or even a routine lab test. But if you're in the medical field, which you are, Volker, you might be able to test that. And don't forget, unmetabolized folic acid blocks actual folate receptors. So yeah, it's an interesting, it's very nuanced, very, very nuanced.
But cramming it into cereal is probably not a really good idea, is what you're saying.
No, yeah, and I think this might be based on my Substack, because I actually spoke about this.
Yeah, I've heard you talk about it before, like the competition or whatever and all that.
Yeah, yeah, and the fortified foods, I understand why they do it, but then they're fortifying it with something that doesn't work. So, right, let's have a look at the next thing. Is this an Ask a General Medical Question session? No, not really. It's you can. We won't necessarily know the answer, but you can ask any question, really, within reason. You could say, where have your ears gone, Liz? Whatever you want to ask.
Hey, I will say they've still got their razors and they light up, but they don't have ears. So,
right.
Because we took a vote. I think it was on Dave's live stream, whatever. So I could take a vote. It's like, what do you think? And I agree with this. I honestly do. That on my gaming channel, okay, ears are going to be 24/7 pretty much. But then also, like, anything that's lighthearted, ears, but most things no ears. For black box warning. My God, the name of the channel is Black Box Warning. I mean, come on, and I'm kitty ears, So depending on what I'm covering, like, I'll do the ears. But honestly, I never even thought about it. I don't really think about stuff, because I mean, this is not a career. I don't do this as a career. I mean, this is like me being me. So and I can be kind of weird sometimes. So but I didn't think about it, but it was a good point. So
yeah,
so people are probably that don't know about the ears are going, what the heck are they talking about?
Yeah.
Do I have them?
You got them there, have you, to show people?
Yeah, let's see.
Yeah.
Those are they light up. So
I think life can be full of fun and joy, but I understand also people thinking, they can't take
like
you seriously.
It's mocking, or like you're making light of a situation, because they're kitty ears, for God's sakes,
Yeah, kitty ears, right? Chris, unless the HbA1c is shown a false low because of anemia. See, these are educated people. Hemolytic anemia will give you a false low. In your case, I suspect it's low because of your proper human diet. Oh, here's one. Liz, you might know a bit about this. I know a tiny bit, but do you know much about I have a question about asbestos poisoning. Do you know anything about asbestos?
That I've never had to deal with any of that from a chemistry perspective, or I think, like, we had something for the last anything even closely remotely like that type of thing, like a environmental issue, was a lead paint and things, like testing for lead paint or something. But asbestos was before, like, my time, like, because here I think and I don't know what years that was, but I think it was well before I was, like, in college and stuff. So the asbestos problem in the United States, if I'm not mistaken, I might be wrong about that, but no, I don't know much about that.
All right. Okay. When it was mined, the weird thing about this is I actually watched a sort of documentary about 3 weeks ago. So this is just from memory. But I found it quite interesting because it was talking about how it was very balanced. It was talking about why they used asbestos in the first place and what was good about it. And as soon as I say what's good about it, it'll also realize what's bad about it. So it's a strange material under the microscope. It's very fibrous. So it's incredibly difficult for it to catch fire and inflame basically because of these microscopic fibers. And it is the very fact that they've got microscopic fibers that can become airborne, and they can end up in your body and scar in your lungs and stuff like that, that cause it to be problematic. But don't you find that's very true of many things, that the very thing that's supposedly good is also the thing that ends up being bad? I think that's a common story, isn't it?
Yeah, that's where risk analysis comes into play, and that's not utilized appropriately enough. Like, because in my job, like everything that we do, like especially with continuous improvement, we're going to change a thing. Like even if there's a problem or you're trying to increase efficiency, when you look at something, you're like, well, we're going to do this. We came up with this idea, and this is going to be great, and it's going to improve efficiency or whatever. You have to look at every angle that exists, every potential outcome, what could possibly happen, because I've seen more processes where they're trying to improve something and they make things worse because of unintended consequences that they did not put in the risk profile. When you're assessing what is every single risk, no matter how far-fetched, and you need to put percentages on it. And a lot of the industry that I'm in has moved to risk-based thinking, which is good. But back in, years ago, it's like they didn't do as much of that, but now it's like, I think is that they don't really care. Like, honestly, that I'm sad but true, but like they don't care what the fallout is in a lot of cases. And one thing that it reminds me of is using those plastic coffee pods, for instance.
Yes.
And again, there's been reports on that. God knows how accurate that is. You never know. I mean, I didn't review the lab data myself or whatever, so I'm not that close to it. But that's another thing. Yeah, that's convenient and great and everything. And convenience usually provides a lot of disaster. If you see convenient, just know, like Harry says, or whoever, like Hagrid, it's like a magic has a price, or whoever the hell that was. I don't know. So, if it's magical, it's got to have a price eventually. So like all the plastics that they're finding in the human body now, because it's convenient. You've got cleanliness things like, it's cleaner. You have less, there's a lot of less contamination because of plastics. Plastics have done amazing things, but they're also being deposited in our body. So, it's kind of scary, but yeah, unintended consequences are my thing, man. It's like over history, when they decided a new drug was great, and then the fallout from that could be catastrophic. And that's the thing that people don't get with a lot of, and I'm going on a soapbox now, but a lot of these people with these GLP-1 drugs and stuff, if it looks magical, like the answers to all your prayers, brace for impact, because there's always a price to magic. That's my thing.
Yes, absolutely.
And same thing with asbestos. They just didn't risk assess it. And you know what I mean? Like enough. And yet you don't know what the future holds either. So,
Yeah. Let's have a look. We've got, we've got comments on asbestos, but let's get a question then. Or actually a nice comment here. If I eat any, this is from a Fishion second. If I eat any Brussels sprouts or asparagus, my sciatic pain, which Carnivore cured, comes back within 24 hours and lasts for 3 to 4 days. Yeah, so I think we've got some plant-based inflammation going on there, definitely. Right, Mr. Beaumont, can you put on a noticeable amount of muscle switching from SAD, standard American diet, to a balanced, to carnivore without resistance training? Well, you can. Definitely. Before the restrictions, I used to have meetups. When I say we, so myself and Jane, we'd have groups of like 10 people come in weekly, and we would help them with nutrition and exercise if they wanted it. And we would do a full body composition analysis using a Tanita machine, which is very accurate. And one lady, she was concerned that she wasn't losing weight, and we're a few weeks into it, but she looked amazing. She looked so much better. But her husband actually was given a grief. Oh, you're doing this thing weekly, but you don't seem to lose any weight. But her body composition changed so dramatically. So she had lost 7 pounds of fat, but she'd gained 5 pounds of muscle and 2 pounds of bone, pretty much, from the fact that she was undernourished. Believe me, you can be undernourished and overweight. That can definitely happen. So she was malnourished. And I mean, this is the most dramatic one. So that's why I'm using this as an example. And she definitely did not exercise. It was all down to the fact that there was more protein being available, more essential fatty acids. There was less crap in her diet, water retention. That changed. I know that could have been a confounder in the figures. It might not have been 7 pounds of fat. It might have been a few pounds of water as well. But essentially, you don't have to look at her. She just looked more sturdy. She looked better. Her skin was better. But that is a real outlier. But you definitely, if you went from a standard American diet or a balanced diet and you started eating carnivore, you would see definitely with a DEXA scan, you would see some bone density improvements and you would see some muscle improvement, but you wouldn't necessarily have to do resistance training. But if you did, then you'd see a much more noticeable difference. I was waiting for you to pipe up there, Liz.
Well, I run my mouth so much, I just try to,
But that's why you're on. People like to hear you.
Well, one thing I would say about that is I used to tell people and this goes to if you've got 100 pounds to lose, or you got 500 pounds to lose, or 300 pounds to lose, you got a lot. The scale can be your friend in a lot of ways, because at that, when you're losing massive amounts of weight, and that's just my opinion. A lot of people it doesn't work for, but the reason I had to do that is because at that point, the amount you're losing, you lose a lot more in the beginning, as you're starting, and then midway through. You lose less later, and the scale can kind of turn into something that plagues you, right? So I have to agree with, I think it was Butter Bob, the influencer that came back after he's been gone for so long. He was talking about how he stopped using the scale because he would show the inches. Like if he did measurements, he could show big improvement and the scale wouldn't be moving. So you have to figure out where you're at. It can be handy, but at the same time, it can actually cause you to not really understand what's going on too. So I think it's kind of a double-edged sword. But I have noticed muscle tone increasing in me, like without exercising, because I used to exercise a lot. I'm about to start doing it again once I get everything prepared upstairs, because I'm having renovations done. And I think that you definitely need to use your muscles so that, I think that's beneficial. A lot of people are online saying things like, well, exercising is detrimental. I mean, I think it can be if you go crazy about it. I mean, I think you can overdo anything. Like you can go nuts on anything, but I like to be strong, and the more I use my body, the stronger I am, so, I think it's helpful to do that. But yeah, I think carnivore, I've seen other people who seem to have more muscle tone after they just went on the diet and they don't work out. So it's kind of amazing to me.
Let's do some back office administration, because Kent Carnivore, Lee there, has just said, just seen your email, Liz, getting back to you now.
Hey. Does
awesome. That make sense?
He's awesome. Yes. I sent him an email asking him some stuff. So thank you very much.
Yeah, check out his channel tonight at 6 p.m. in the UK. I think there'll be a really good video being released that you'd be interested in. Right, let's get to the next question. Although I think it's this is actually really nice. Thank you very much, Chris. No question. Just have a great and much deserved week off. Yeah, I'm having a week away after working well over 90 days in a row. Yep. So I won't be here for a week. So that's why I won't be seeing Liz next weekend. But I'll hopefully be able to convince her to come back the week after. But thank you for the super chat. Yeah, you'll be here. That's good. Ears or no ears, it don't matter.
Ears or no ears.
Right. Let's go to the next comment then. So we talked about asbestos, done that one there. Oh, this is interesting. This is Phil Greeley. How many forms of any given vitamin are there? I've heard you speak of K2, heard there are something like hundreds of forms of D. Can you shed light on this? Yes. What do you want to know, really? So when you talk about K2, then there are different forms. So MK4 and MK7 are the two main ones people talk about. MK7 it's just the length of the tail, but actually, you've got MK4 right through to MK13. So as with anything, you get the ones that are researched. So MK4 seems to be the most bioavailable. MK7 seems to stick around in the bloodstream longer, so that gets talked about. Then you've got if you talk about D, then most people talk about D2 and D3. So you've got dietary forms of D2 from plants and D3 from animals. And then you get conversion of D3. So you got the storage form, then you got the active form, but then you get what's called metabolites. So, where you got this hundreds from is, people talk about, I mean, I've seen a thing where it was over like 50 metabolites, which is when your body then chemically breaks down that compound. So like in vitamin D, what happens to it as it's converted into different usable forms. It's a bit of a minefield, but you always need to go back to basics, because what you're starting with is either D2 or D3. And then what
whatever's bioavailable, basically, is what you're saying.
Basically. And what your body does with it, and does it need it, and does it need it for this, that, and the other. And I've had people send me videos, and it's very convincing, where they say, well, because of these metabolites, you shouldn't take a supplement necessarily, because it's never going to end up over in this pathway. Well, I don't know how they can even work that out, really. Just
well, they got they shrunk themselves, put themselves in a tiny submarine, and they actually went on a mission. So they know.
Yes. WD25A, yes, unmetabolized folic acid is only going to stick around in your system for up to 24 hours, as it's water soluble, it's a water soluble vitamin. So I can see why it wouldn't be offered as standard, which sort of has some truth. But don't forget, many people are ingesting folic acid fortified in cereals every day, and water soluble vitamins can live in your system for longer than 24 hours. So, but that's a great point. Generally speaking, that is that's going to be true.
All right, let me ask you a question real quick. Like, since you're a vitamin guy, okay. Are a lot of these, how the chemical compounds, like, there's a lot of enantiomers, like, you've got mirror images, basically. Are a lot of these situations where you have something that would be bioavailable and useful, but then it's mirror image, like, is this other vitamin that's sold? Do you know how often does that play into, like, crap vitamins that are sold that are actually like the completely wrong form and do nothing? When it comes to vitamins,
I couldn't tell you the extent of that, because I haven't looked into that. But yes, I mean, many times people come to me and they say, I have XYZ problem, and the doctor has given me this vitamin, as you say, or a supplement, and it's like, well, that's the completely wrong form.
That happens a lot, from what I understand, but I wasn't sure.
It happens a lot. And I mean, that's even physiologically happening with things like T3. So you get reverse T3, so you get the mirror image of T3, and sorry, you were going to say?
No. That it seems like I just remembered the T3 situation was one of those like mirror image type things, right?
Yes, and then you get the question. Well, if that's happening, is it pathological? Is it physiological? And I think that a lot of what we believe is based on ignorance, because we find out the appendix, which didn't do anything, does stuff, or the gallbladder that we don't really need, did. So I think this is the thing. Nutrition science is almost an oxymoron, isn't it?
It is. Yes, it absolutely is an oxymoron, for sure.
Yeah. So we got Coach Peter donating some Canadian dollars. $2.79. That really is very helpful. Thank you very much for that, Peter. His internationally accredited coaching course, I have contributed some material to that, all about bloods. So if you're looking to have a decent qualification that actually talks about this way of eating in a scientific, physiological way, then check out Coach Peter. My link to his to book a free call with him actually is in the description. So thanks for that. Let's have a look at this other super chat. Getting some super chats. That's very kind. I need it for my week off. $9.99, Mr. Beaumont. Thank you very much. Are there only inflammatory consequences to eating, drinking herbs, spices, zero carb sweeteners, hot sauces, Pepsi Max, etc., provided all extremely low carb, or is there more to it? Oh boy. Do you want to go first, Liz?
Yes, I'd like to go first.
Yeah, go first.
It's like me. No. So the consequences are unknown is what the problem is. So yeah, you've got the inflammation, which is the basics. Like if you do eat some of these things, like if you eliminate and you put things back in, you're like, oh, that causes me inflammation or this causes me pain. Okay, that's one immediate response. But the thing that I worry about more is what is this going to do long term, and
Mm,
some things I don't know you can get a sense of because of how long they've been in existence and how long people have been eating them, right? But a lot of this stuff is like not, it's in its infancy. So when I was talking about like risk assessment, what is the risk long term? Like we don't know. That's the problem. So,
mm.
and again, like I mean, I eat stevia, like, here and there, like, it's a pure form of stevia, it's not got the other stuff in it, but, that's to me, I don't like the fact that I do that, but again, I'm a human and, uh, you know, I'm addicted to coffee for one thing, but, so and a lot of people are they'll say like, "Oh, coffee is really good for you," and blah, blah. No, we don't it's full of so many different compounds.
Mm,
There are probably compounds that might be okay that might actually be beneficial. There's some that not, like, you just don't know. That's the key is you don't know what some of these things are doing. But, I
mm.
mean, can everybody be perfect robot and, be water and beef all the time? I mean, probably not. I mean, most
Yeah.
people can't, so,
Yeah. I mean,
we
the coffee one is one I always go on about because many people have really great, morning rituals that involves a cup of coffee, so they might go
Mhm,
and ground, watch the sun come up. They might just have 10
mhm,
minutes away from the hell of work or the computer screen
mhm,
and taking coffee away. It's not going to be the same with a glass of water, and many
mm-mm,
people, I'm not going to do it. So
yeah,
it is a net benefit thing. But if you go in, if you scratch the surface of everything there, like Pepsi Max or sweeteners, well, you got the cephalic response. Your brain is expecting sweet, your tongue tastes sweet, so you could get some
mhm,
insulin response from that. Gut microbiome disruption from artificial sweeteners. They are
mhm,
the name gives you a clue it's artificial. So does the body know what to do with it? I doubt it.
mhm, mhm,
Some of the things that we eat, like the spices, someone's just commented, if they have spice, they have acid reflux. So your body tells you straight
mhm,
away. There's taste receptors in your rear end. So when you have
mhm.
Montezuma's revenge, when you've eaten an Indian meal and it's burning down there, that's your body saying that was a bit stupid. Um, all of those things tap into dopamine responses. So
Mhm,
you are maintaining your desire for sweet taste. You're maintaining your
mhm,
desire for these foods that might be bad. Then you get into sort of much broader things, digestive irritation, as we've just mentioned,
mhm,
physiological sort of dependence on them. Uh, you know, we want to get away from dependency rather than fighting it with willpower. The easiest way to do is, for most people, is to abstain. Moderation doesn't work for a lot of people.
mhm,
Oxalates, oh boy, sorry, preservatives in some of these things. It
mhm,
is endless. It is endless, and I'll go back to what Liz said as well. We it's the unknowns, the
mhm,
long-term unknown problems with all these things. So spices weren't there for taste originally; they were there for preservative purposes. So, you know, I would say out of all of those things, the least problematic would probably be herbs, but everything else I would avoid
mhm.
personally. So, right. Thank you for another super chat, which is $9.99. I'll have to have more vacations. This is really good. I'm actually quite
This is
concerned about having time off because it's such a competitive world, isn't it? When you're out
mhm,
there doing YouTube and I've written the Substacks up to when I get back, so
mhm.
that won't stop. But you've got to be out there in front of people. If you're not, they just forget you straight away.
Well, you have to feed the beast, when it comes to this type of thing. Like, you gotta keep feeding it, so it's one of those things to stay relevant, I guess, but,
Mm,
but you also do have to take time off. I mean, you just
yes, I
do
do.
because that is not good not to do that. I spent years without taking a vacation. And, when I finally was able to get back into a bikini, like, I took everybody on vacation for a week in, Florida. We went to St. Augustine. It was wonderful. And I'm so practical, and I'm always like, "Well, I don't need to do that. You know, it's like, why would I need to do that? Why? Because I lived in Florida, so been there, done that. You know, I kind of got used to the tropical. It's funny what you take for granted, you know, and now though I miss it, but I was glad we got to go back, and we had a blast. It was a week, and I didn't regret any of it. So it was something I really needed, because it had been years that I had taken a vacation. So.
Yeah, you do need a rest, definitely. And I always put myself in, if someone was doing a consult with me and they said they're not feeling optimal, and I would say, is there any particular reason? If they said, well, I've worked for 120 days in a row, I would say, well, them to have a rest. So I've got to practice what I preach. Partly why I do all my lives much earlier now as well, because I try to get into the circadian rhythms. Right, PJ Eubank 8765. What is the best supplement for skin and hair? I am carnivore. Well, you just answered your own question. Skin and hair does very well on carnivore. That's a very good supplement. But without being too cheeky, biotin obviously is essential for hair. So avoiding egg whites might be a thing. If you're actually saying because your skin and hair is not doing as well as you'd like, first experiment I would do is take out egg whites if you're eating eggs, just to see, because we know that avidin is one of those things that can interfere with biotin. But that's normally when it's raw, by the way. But if you are doing sort of bone broths or fatty lattes with a little bit of egg white still in there, even though you're only using the yolk, there's still a little bit of egg white. Could be that.
Lots of collagen, like if you're eating meats, you know, with I'm not gonna come up with the right word for this, but like ribs, for instance, like ribs would have a lot of collagens and connective tissues and things like that. Like if you eat a lot more of that, I mean, when I do that, like my hair grows like a weed. Like it's almost to my rear end, like right now. So it's like it's almost a problem. Being a carnivore, my hair grows really fast.
Yeah, you've got very long hair. Have you always had long hair?
Yeah, it's like all the way down this way. But yeah, most of my life, yeah. Like I've had short hair a couple of times and I regretted getting it cut just because I don't know, it's just not me. It's just weird. But it grows really fast on carnivore, particularly if you're eating a lot of food, you know, collagen.
Yeah, that's a good ad. Yeah, the collagen. That's a good answer. Right. So, well, that's the end of the hour, hasn't it? That's gone really quickly, hasn't it?
Yeah.
I think it was nice to see you again. Are you a bit low energy now?
Who, me? No, I'm good. I'm still good. I'm just well, I think I ranted myself out probably earlier, but
did you?
But I'll be on later on the gameplay channel, probably doing some kind of, because you were talking about taking it easy, you know, that kind of thing. I need to do that. So I need to do some gameplay or something. So later on today, maybe. But
let's have a look at this. I've got to mention the super chat. Thank you, £2. Some twads, something towards holiday fund. Buy half a cup of coffee. Yes, that's very good. So thank you everyone, YouTubers. It's been very great. And
thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, it's nice, isn't it?
Yeah. This is a fun stream. Always.
But we won't do it next week. But the following week, we'll be back to our normal time, I think, doing the Sunday supplement. Talking of supplements, this is the only supplement you need, isn't it, really? Just
absolutely.
Come and have a chat. It's nice to see everybody. Right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
See you soon. Bye.